I'm just like anybody else. I thought, man, I really want to get a big piece of land that I can just spend the rest of my life on and be a rancher and be a homesteader, be an off-gridder. But what happens when you actually have 106 acres? 106 acres requires an enormous amount of manpower.
And as a sole operator, you don't have that much manpower, so you heavily rely on equipment to get all of this work done. In today's video, I'm going to show you the top 4 pieces of equipment I use to maintain this acreage. One of the first pieces of equipment that I bought when I got this land was this backhoe because it's so versatile. This is the 430 with the extendable dipper arm here, a really nice feature when you're moving boulders around, for example. Of course, I've got the thumb here. That's great for grabbing boulders or big logs and moving them into position to chainsaw them up for firewood. These teeth for digging into the rocky soil that we have here, and we've got very rocky soil here on this mountain. I've got the bucket with the flat blade on there. That enables me to back drag the roads for a nice smooth surface, and also to slide these forks on. These are 60-inch forks. I slide these right onto the front of the bucket, and I can put them at the very widest outermost part of the bucket, and that's wide enough for me to go on the outside of the trash dumpster in the same holes that the truck uses to lift it up and dump it. I have to take those down to the bottom of the mountain. They will not come up these steep roads in that truck, so I do that about once a month. I've got this snow box that goes right on the front of the bucket as well. The chains go around to hold it on. I did put chains on the tires during the winter because it does slide around a little bit on these steep switchbacks. Can be a little bit dangerous, but this machine is so versatile and I love it for clearing snow. I also use it a lot for things like clearing out these bar ditches, which is essential for drainage on the roads. One of the things I use the backhoe for all the time is picking up heavy things and moving them into position. Kind of makes you feel like a transformer. Initially, when preparing to build the barn and the solar array terrace, I was going to do all of this work with the backhoe. Very quickly, I realized that an excavation job that big has to be done with a larger excavator. In the process though, I did get this grizzly screen, which we still use all the time to separate big boulders from the fines. And of course, the road work here never ends.
We used to use these on the ranch to work on the roads, but not anymore.
All right, never mind. That was totally ridiculous. I just was playing with some editing, man. I just thought it was going to be cool, but it was really dumb, so let's get back to the video. Okay, the next piece of equipment that saves my life on a daily basis is this ATV. Polaris ATV has been unbelievable in helping me maintain smooth roads. We get a lot of chop. People drive around in two-wheel drive. They're going up steeper roads with gravel. We're getting a lot of washboard. So in order to keep all that smooth, I drag the roads fairly often. And this little power grader here runs on a battery, which is rechargeable, so it's really easy to maintain and keep charged up. This cable has a little switch at the end that enables me to raise and lower that grader. Here's some ruts we got from a recent monsoon rain we get during the summer here in Utah. So you can see what a difference that makes, just one pass. Here you can see the final groomed surface. I try to do this right after it rains because it's softer, it's easier to manage, it also keeps the dust down. The next piece of equipment that has saved me so much time and effort is this dump trailer. I've got this new addition to the family of equipment, this ABI dump trailer that I wired up to the battery, and it's got a little controller here I can raise and lower. That little trailer follows me everywhere. It can go pretty much everywhere this ATV goes. It's really stable. It's got a lot of articulation it can handle, so that's been a great hauling tool, move firewood, get things in and out of rough areas where I can't take my dually truck. The backhoe is too tippy, it's too top heavy for a certain terrain, so if I want to go off and pick up a big pile of brush, for example, or some tree trimmings that we've done, sometimes you've got to go over some rough terrain that would be dangerous to do with a backhoe. The fourth and final piece of equipment I'll share with you today is this fuel dolly. This is a military trailer. This is an all aluminum United States Marine Corps military trailer. It's got 37s with run flats. It's got the original pintle hitch on here. The only thing I've modified is I put some new chains on there. I switched it from 24 volt to 12 volt. I modified it with this 4-pin, which connects the original harness under here
where I had this 24 volt connection. I modified that with a little adapter.
Now the purpose of this trailer is to haul fuel. This is what I call my fuel dolly. This big tank has 90 gallons of diesel. The small tank has 48 gallons of gasoline. And this one has a switch and a battery. And this big tank is a manual crank. So obviously a transport trailer for fuel was a mandatory thing for me being in this remote location. But it's really cool. Once you have your trailer fueled up, you just take it up to the ranch and then you've got basically your own little private gas station. And since these are bigger tanks, it allows me to fill up the equipment multiple times so I don't have to keep running up and down the mountain. And one thing I didn't show you is that the backhoe does require DEF, and I just keep that in a separate smaller container because it's really slow to burn through DEF.
All right, that's it for this week. If you guys want to see more detail on any of that equipment, let me know in the comments. See you on the next one.